This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
Hi, my name is Igor Kheifets, and this is The List Building Lifestyle, the only podcast which delivers cutting-edge conversion strategies from the online trenches straight to your earbuds. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. I also invite you to grab a free copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. And now, once again, it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
You are listening to the List Building Lifestyle Show. You are so darn lucky. You don't even know it. However you found this show, we're happy you're here. And you're about to be enlightened once again by Mr. Igor Kheifets. What's up, my man?
All is good, as usual, Jonathan. Been a really productive couple of weeks over here on Igor Planet. Yeah, for sure.
Come on now. I think you're underselling. Look, the last time I talked to this guy, he said, I'm going to look into these Facebook ads. And today he just showed me like 500 different campaigns he's running. He's underselling the work.
Well, you know what, man? This is the only time I'm actually unhappy about being right, because I've been yapping about how, Facebook ads are not the shit. Facebook ads are not the best thing since sliced bread. And in spite of everybody else is saying, but I've been testing and split testing and retesting and trying all kinds of stuff on Facebook ads recently. I mean, I've tried video ads, black and white stuff, images with text, images without text, retargeting audiences, custom audiences, lookalike audiences. Like, I'm really giving this a shot because, everybody's screaming about how Facebook has 1 billion users now and they're like the future of advertising and supposedly they got more traffic than Google and all that stuff. But honestly, none of it is true. At least for me, though. I'm not sure about you, but, obviously, when it comes to promoting make money online stuff, you can't really do much on Facebook because you just get shut down very quickly, or weight loss, right? But recently I've been seeing lots and lots of ads about e-commerce and about software products, which is seems to be Facebook seems to be the go-to platform to advertise those. So I said, you know what? Why not advertise my traffic agency? Because I'm not promising anybody will make any money. I'm not making any outrageous claims. Let's see where it takes us. And after month and month of testing, and I began testing a while ago, I'm still not able to crack the code. Facebook applications and Facebook, leads don't seem to be doing it for me. I mean, I'm getting much better response from Google, for instance, like Google traffic, even though everybody says that Google is old news. You know what? I don't agree with that. Google is more expensive, absolutely. But damn it, Google is targeted.
Yeah.
Google is the most incredible traffic platform ever. And I wish, if you're promoting business opportunities and MLMs, right, for you, I wish you could use Google to get traffic because, it's just incredible. But, there's two problems with Google, of course. If you're doing SEO, besides SEO being really difficult, it's also very, very slow and you can get knocked off the first page easily. In fact, you could be like buying backlinks or something and thinking that you're moving up the ranks, but Google changes their rules tomorrow or catches up with you in a little bit and you're gone. Now, you can also try the AdWords route. Like you can try advertising using paid traffic, but the thing about Google is because it's so freaking awesome that all the competitive keywords that are worth anything, that have volume and that have buying potential, they have an insane CPC. And I'm talking, I've been just researching this 2 days ago. I'm talking like $15, $20, $30 per click.
For a click?
For a click.
Damn.
If you go and you go looking for, say, work from home leads, which is a keyword I researched, the price for that keyword is $16.70 something.
Oh wow. That's
per
ridiculous.
Click.
Yeah,
that is
clicks.
ridiculous.
We're not talking conversions here. Yikes.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, Google is too expensive, and Facebook, even after a really grueling testing phase, still doesn't work. So, I am, when it comes to business opportunities, I am, at the same time, excited for being right, and at the same time, really depressed because, I wanted to be wrong. I really wanted to be wrong about Facebook. I really wanted to say, man, I've just, tapped into this incredible source of new customers for my traffic agency. But unfortunately, it's not happening.
Not yet. All right. So I took you off track because we spent like 40 minutes before we got on talking about it. I'm excited about some of the stuff you're doing. But what are we really talking about in today's show?
Well, I want to chat about solo ads and specifically solo ad marketplaces because lately I've been seeing a bunch of them, and I see a lot of people, literally thousands of people, flock to these marketplaces, believing that by buying their traffic in the marketplace, they stand a much better chance of getting conversions and getting higher quality traffic. Now, I wanted to share that this is a false idea, simply because, well, there's a few reasons for that, of course.
Before you go on, Igor, for some ignoramus like me that may not know, what is a solo ad marketplace?
Well, a solo ad marketplace is when somebody creates like a hub where solo ad sellers and people who want to buy solo ads can go together and create transactions, like literally just go in and like shop for clicks. So if you wanted to buy a solo today, you could register on a website like Udimi or Solochecker or some other solo ad marketplace, and you'd have instant access to hundreds and hundreds of sellers, like in a form of a Rolodex. So you can just click on one of them and you can submit an order right there, and the order will be delivered through the marketplace, meaning that the marketplace will provide you with a tracking link, and they will supposedly verify that you're getting good quality traffic. And, if something goes wrong, they will, step in and help you get justice.
Get justice. Like I wish people could see the video with the fist shaking in the air. Get justice. I like that visual. So how did people find solo ad vendors before these marketplaces?
Well, before the marketplaces, you either go by the word of mouth and you ask a friend, if they used a good solo provider, or they hit solo ad Rolodexes. There was a Reed Florence solo directory that was really popular back in the day, and there were also Skype chat rooms, secret Skype rooms where solo ads actually began as an industry. Because solo ads were not mainstream several years ago. Solo ads is a fairly new way of driving traffic. In fact, I would argue they are newer than Facebook ads. And the way it all started was that a bunch of people with lists formed a Skype chat room, which, you couldn't get in unless you were invited, and they swapped. Now, what does that mean? Swapping means that, if you have a list of 1,000 people and I have a list of 1,000 people, we agreed to email each other's lists with each other's links. And this way, we just exchange the promotion. Each one of us gets free traffic because it doesn't cost anything to mail. And that's how we grow our list. So imagine you got people, marketers with like huge lists of hundreds of thousands of people, ad swapping each other. And honestly, that's all they needed to do to sustain their businesses. Now, eventually, of course, these chat rooms, the word got out. Some people wrote ebooks about them, other people released courses, and other people blogged about them. And all of a sudden, guys like me could get it. And when I say guys like me, because at the time I didn't have like a big list or anything. My list was, I think, about 700 people when I first got into one of these chat rooms. And what happened was, like, I really wanted to ad swap with them, but they were too big for me. Like, I couldn't approach a list owner with, say, 10,000 subscribers and say, hey, let's ad swap. I got 700 subscribers. Because that was just not fair. So they started doing something they never done before because of all the newcomers coming in, and they started selling clicks. So in other words, instead of doing an ad swap, they said, okay, well, if you pay me, say 20 or 30 cents per click, I'll email my list for you with your link for however many clicks you want, and I produce anywhere between 1,000 and, say, 10,000 clicks per mailing, depending on my segment. And so depending on what your budget was, you could have them run a promotion. And that's how solo ads really started. One of the first guys who did that was John Cornetta, who I consider to be, the godfather of solo ads. I learned a lot from him personally. And, he was the teacher to my mentor who walked me, took me by the hand and walked me into this world of solo ads, invited me to all kinds of chat rooms and stuff like that. So from there, the situation started to arise where, some people got scammed, other people complained because they got no conversions. And so all of a sudden the community became really like scam oriented. Like, people started being really conscious about the fact that they could pay for clicks and get really bad results. And all of a sudden, there's there's like people volunteer to be the police, right? So they start watching for scams, and if there's a scam in one chat room, they'll go and announce it in the other chat room, and so and naturally, because the demand grew, some people were scamming. They just came in and they started scamming other people, and from that point forward, all of a sudden the community becomes like there's a demand now, right, to fight the bad guys, to exclude them from the group, to send them off into exile or to behead them, whatever. And that was, in my opinion, why the first Solid marketplace was born, which at the time was SafeSwaps. SafeSwaps was a website for ad swapping. And a lot of the people who were in those chat rooms, they were on SafeSwaps as well. In fact, a lot of them, when they were swapping in the chat rooms, were using SafeSwaps as a platform to do it. And then, recently, several years ago, SafeSwaps changed into Udemy. So Udemy is actually owned by the same guy. Yeah. Not Udemy as in the website that sells courses, but Udimi, which is the solo ad marketplace.
Right.
So anyway, that's how these things were born, and they were kind of just a natural extension of what was going on in the industry at the time.
And one of the things you said is that the marketplace helps you get justice with the shaking fist. But that's one of the things I noticed that you already offer that I haven't seen in solo ads yet, or maybe other people are starting to do it, but you actually offer some guarantees when you're doing solo ads, don't you?
Yeah, and there's a bunch of sellers that try to knock it off. In fact, I've seen this is so crazy. I just wrote an email about it to the list. Like there's a company, okay, that guarantees sales with their solo ads. Now, naturally, when I see something like that, I gotta check it out, right? Maybe they know something I don't, right? Because you can never guarantee sales unless you're incentivizing them or unless you actually like show fake conversions or something. And then so I apply to work with them. And you can easily, find this company by Googling the word solo ads. They're actually on the first page, and their website title says, guaranteed sales solo ads. And so, so attractive, right? And so you come in, and this website, there's a bunch of sellers. So first red flag to me is like, how could every single one of them, offer sales conversions, especially since most of them are not professionals. They're one-man operations. Most of them live in the Philippines or Thailand or Vietnam, countries where you only need to make about $150 per month to survive. So all they do is just resell clicks with like a 4-cent margin in between, and all of a sudden they're guaranteeing sales. I'm like, it just can't be right. So I play prospect. Now, obviously, I don't play prospect as me. Okay, I can't go play prospect.
Give us your prospect name. Give us your pen name.
Oh no! What if the competitor is listening, John? How dare you? So I'm going to keep my prospect identity secret. But I put on my prospect hat and I start talking to them. And here's what I discovered. Now this is the silliest guarantee you'll ever hear. Basically, if you work with them for at least 6 months and you buy a minimum of 10,000 clicks or something like that, they guarantee you'll get at least one sale of your program.
Oh, that's awesome. 10,000 clicks?
If I buy 10,000 AdFly clicks, or if I get 10,000 domain redirects, and I get a really cool, make money from home offer, I will make a sale for sure. But it doesn't mean that, that I'm going to buy 10,000 clicks. So it's just the lamest guarantee ever that I've ever seen. So yeah, but we do offer an opt-in guarantee, right? So we commit to an opt-in guarantee, and recently we expanded it into a double traffic guarantee, where not only we commit to a minimum 30% opt-in rate on your upcoming promotion, but we also guarantee all of these leads will be 100% real. Because we build you a squeeze page for free. We'll build you a squeeze page with a real-time email verification module. So if somebody tries to enter a fake email into the form, they cannot do it. Like, it will actually tell them, analyzing your email, looks like your email is invalid. Please enter a valid email. Now, naturally, it lowers the opt-in rate. And so we are risking or delivering really bad results for you. And if we deliver less than we promise, then of course you get a full refund. But so far it has only been doing wonders, because as a result of driving actual real leads to your list, what you're doing is you're keeping your list hygiene really, really high. And by keeping your list hygiene high, you will get better delivery rates. So overall, not only you're not paying for fake leads, but you're also going to get better email delivery. So in the end, you will make more money in your business.
Wow. So let's go back to why you're saying you should avoid these marketplaces. What is it that you don't like about them?
Well, there's actually a list of things that I don't like about it. For one, I used to be a member of SafeSwaps, and this is where I started swapping, because on SafeSwaps, you could still find people who were like small, like a list of 500 people, 700,000, 2,000. And so I started swapping. And I remember this one swap that I've had with a guy by the name of John Legudakis, I think. You can still Google him. I'm not sure if he's like active, but his website is still there. So he had a list of about 3,000 people, but he was taking on smaller swaps at the time. And I applied to swap with him because he had a good rating. Now, in SafeSwaps, they had a rating system. And, if you had 4 stars or above, then, I'd swap you because you are obviously cool. And the weirdest thing happened. So I emailed his link and he emailed my link. And midway through the promotion, he says, I'm getting really bad traffic from you. Like, your traffic is absolutely ridiculous, super low quality. Now, I have no idea what's going on, right? Because, I'm just doing my best. And, I'm like, oh, what? Well, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a reason for that, etc. But he would not want to hear anything. He just, kind of cut the relationship, and he said, I don't want to swap with you anymore. But before we part ways, I don't want to get a bad rating either. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rate you 5 stars, and you do the same thing for me. Deal? Yes. Thank you. Of course. Nobody likes, to have a bad reputation. And all of a sudden, once it happens, and I'm realizing that he just gave me 5 stars for sending him really bad batch of traffic, right? Something is not right. How many other people are doing the same thing? How many people are not saying anything simply because they want to get a positive rating from other sellers that they're working with? And that was the last ad swap I've done on that network. That was it. I was gone. So I realized that the rating systems on these places are really, really bad. Now, you might say, well, Igor, okay, that was ad swaps. And how does that apply to a solo marketplace where you buy traffic? So if a traffic consumer, right, buys a bunch of clicks and they're bad, he's going to put in a bad rating. Well, not necessarily. So there's 2 ways a solo ad seller who sends you fake clicks or bad clicks or dead opt-ins or just, average quality stuff, can deal with a customer complaint. A, they can just refund the customer. Very simple. And all of a sudden, the customer does not post any negative stuff and can even post some positive stuff. And not talk about their traffic, but perhaps put like a 5-star rating saying great communication, fast delivery, stuff like that. Like, no mention of conversions, but like fast delivery, great communication, awesome, yeah. and so that's one thing. And the other thing is, what if he gets a bad promotion or he's getting like traffic from a bad batch of clicks, and then the solo ad seller resends the promotion in full from his own buyer list or something, or just a list that's better, right? And all of a sudden everything's good again, but he had to resend the traffic in addition. So all of a sudden this whole bad experience is forgotten. Again, the other consumers cannot find out about it, and the seller has great rating, and he can keep sending on bad traffic. And if you're a newbie, by the way, what if you're just a newbie that does not understand the difference? What if you're not tracking your stuff? What if you're literally started out 2 days ago or something? Your upline told you go buy solids on Udimi. You have no idea what you're doing. You can't even tell whether or not you're getting good stuff or bad stuff. So that is why solid marketplace ratings, I don't trust them. So what that means then is that the only way you can differentiate is just based on price. Now, logic dictates whatever is more expensive then is higher quality, right?
Better, yeah.
But the thing about the solo ad sellers on these marketplaces is that they don't go for expensive. They often don't charge you more than 50 or 60 cents per click, which seems to be the standard going rate, of the traffic on these marketplaces. They pretty much, all of them, charge the same rate because they're all selling the same thing and they resell this traffic to each other. Okay. Now, again, remember that many of them are resellers. They don't have a list, they don't have a database, they don't have any presence, and their email ain't worth anything. So they end up reselling your stuff to another seller on the same network who they negotiated a better deal with prior to posting their listing. So, Bob Jones has a listing for 40 cents a click, and then you got, Peter Griffin,
Family Guy.
a listing for, say, 40 cents a click as well. So what you do is you buy from Bob and you buy from Peter, but Peter has negotiated a deal with Bob that he can get his traffic for 30 cents per click because he's friends with him and whatever. And so what happens is then Peter resells your order to Bob, who you already bought from, with a 10-cent per click markup. So you're not only overpaying for traffic, but you're getting the exact same traffic you just purchased. So again, standard practice at these marketplaces. So that is why, what I'm saying, like, you can't know what you're getting. You cannot differentiate the sellers. Oftentimes you won't find any feedback about them on Google or nothing. At the very least, when you're working with agencies and sellers outside of the marketplaces, they're forced to create some sort of a presence online because they don't rely on the marketplace website to get them customers. Because a seller that's just operating literally on one marketplace, he's getting all of his customers there. He doesn't need to optimize anything. He doesn't need to do SEO. He doesn't need to, upload YouTube videos with testimonials. Doesn't need to do any of that because he knows the marketplace will do the trick. Not to mention that the marketplace will do like email promotions promoting their top sellers. Not the ones who deliver the best results, but the ones that sell the most clicks, right?
Yeah.
And here's another thing that nobody ever considers when they go in and they, buy traffic at these marketplaces is that the marketplace owner, the reason, he or she starts the marketplace in the first place is to make money.
Yeah.
And the way they make money is not by charging a seller a set fee every month, where sellers just paying to be a member, for example, but by shaving a percentage off of each transaction. Now, what does this tell us? This tells us that the marketplace owner is interested to allow the sellers and to encourage the sellers to have as many transactions and sell as many clicks as possible, regardless of the quality of the traffic the seller delivers. Because that means more money in the owner's pocket.
What you're describing to me sounds like incestuous solo ads. That's what's going on here.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So, all right. We're a little long on this one, but any other stuff that you want to just rag on marketplaces, or maybe better than that, because we talked a lot about that. What makes Igor solo ads different?
Well, I'm a marketer, of course. And, I love talking about myself, which is a great combination, right? If you're a marketer. But, I guess the difference is that we take a different approach to getting the clicks, to pre-qualifying the clicks, and to the way we serve them to the customer. And, it just shows in the results. Now, the other great part about doing business with us is that when you Google us, right, and I encourage you guys to Google Igor Solo Ads, you'll see a bunch of different things. You'll see a bunch of negative reviews by people who are pissed off by either myself, the quality of our traffic, or by Dennis. Actually, there's a bunch of complaints on Dennis because, people hate the way he behaves. They really hate the fact that he's like asking them questions and making their life difficult. It's like, why can't he just tell me what the price is and, sell me the traffic? This whole back and forth thing, it's annoying and blah, blah, blah. So people like who don't buy from me complain about that. And there's a bunch of positive feedback as well from real customers who report with some real numbers. Like, especially if you go on YouTube, you'll find a bunch of material, right? So before you even get to a stage where you have to decide whether or not you want to work with us, there's a bunch of material for you to review, and this material comes from third-party sources, not from us or from a marketplace that endorses us and is financially involved in promoting us. You know what I mean? So anytime you're working with somebody who's independent, you stand a higher chance of working with somebody who's good if they're not operating within the marketplace. Like, for instance, my friend Harris Feldman, who runs traffic for me, which is basically a solo ad agency. Like, he's got a bunch of publishers that he keeps a secret, of course. And this traffic, you can't get it on a solid marketplace. And you have to go through him because he's what they call a reseller. So he's legit and he works on his own. He's got like his own presence. And when you check him out, you understand that you're working with somebody who's legit and not somebody who's hiding behind a fake profile on the marketplace. So in other words, if you're somebody who doesn't like to gamble and doesn't like to have to go through lots and lots and lots of trial and error with the solo sellers, wasting lots of time and lots of money because you have to sift through a lot of dirt before you find some gold, then the solo marketplaces are not the right place for you to start. Okay, you may want to hit the marketplaces once you're more experienced and you can tell if somebody is legit or not just by having a conversation with them. Like, I could do that. At this point, it's been almost a decade, right, since I started this, so I can have a conversation with somebody and ask them a few trick questions, which I'm not going to reveal on this. Don't ask, okay? I'm not going to reveal on this call because I want to keep them, for a little while. I want to keep them to myself. But you can ask them a couple of questions, a couple of trick questions, and based on how they respond, you know whether or not you're dealing with a reseller, whether or not you're dealing with some fly-by-night douchebag that's just here to capitalize on the insane demand that there is for solo ads.
Fair enough. Igor, we're about to wrap up. Do you want to give our listeners a little sneak peek of next time?
Well, I think it's about time we did an episode, which we should have done a long time ago. The episode is basically about, do solo ads even work? Like, I noticed a lot of people out there who know what solo ads are search for answers to this particular question. They're really not sure. And rightfully so, because there's so many different types of offers out there, and it just gets confusing. Like, honestly, sometimes when you just get started with something new, be it with a new opportunity or a new traffic strategy, not having an idea which one of the 50 different directions, right, that's in front of you that you should be taking first, just that could be super overwhelming and arresting. Like, you literally just, you're frozen. And I know people, right, who joined my VIP club, for example, like, who've been frozen for years. I'm like just overwhelmed to a point where they did not do anything. Like, they learned a lot about a bunch of stuff, but they didn't do anything because they're too overwhelmed about, where to get started. So the next episode, I want to answer this question.
All right.
Like, do solo ads really work? And if so, for whom?
All right. So next time, we'll be back in your earbuds next time. Thank you, Igor. Thank you, list builders, for tuning in. And that is a wrap for this episode.
Thank you for listening to The List Building Lifestyle. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play to never miss an episode. Because who knows, just one conversion tactic we share on the show might double your list and double your business. Download the transcript of today's episode and all future episodes at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. And don't forget to claim your complimentary copy of the Wealthy List Builder Survival Guide at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com/survival. This is Igor Kheifets, and until next time we talk, have a good one.
This is the podcastfactory.com.